Hello, everyone in the chess world. So, well, you could see, in the title what we're going to talk about today. This is quite simple. So, how to refute d4, knight f6, c4, and d5. And it is an interesting subject for me because, I'm sure, well, first of all, g4, knight f6, c4, we've seen it in millions of games. Now, yes, it's really, really unusual to see black playing d5 immediately. I mean, everyone has some sort of intuition that this is a mistake. However, if you immediately believe that the reason why this is bad is that we take it, and while, if black takes it with the queen, we'll win a tempo with knight c3, this is true. And if black takes it with the knight, we'll win a tempo with e4. Well, this second thing is kind of half truth. So, I've seen some players trying this, because the thing is that if we rush this e4, like saying, okay, this is a way to kind of refute this, well, look at this continuation. This happened in a lot of games. Knight on f6, knight c3 protecting the pawn, e5. This is what black is doing, right? Hitting the center. So now if we take on e5, they'll exchange queens. And now when we advance the pawn, they're already start pressuring. This is what black's idea. And let's say knight on f3, bishop on b4. This position, for example, is already objectively equal for black. And black managed to play both d5 and e5 in the opening. So I actually asked one of my teachers some time ago what to play exactly in this. I understood that, d5 should be bad. I know I should take it, and if they take with the queen, I win the tempo. But he explained to me that after knight takes on d5, well, knight on f3 is the key move. So it's really funny because, yes, one day we will win a tempo with e4, and this is the other reason why d5 is wrong. But e4 is like a great card that we should actually keep for later. So it's kind of like one of the examples of the thing, just another case of the threat is often more, stronger than its execution. So knight on f3, and now black has a problem because almost, okay, we kept that card. We can play e4, any moment that we want to win the tempo, but in much better conditions, with the knight already, developed. And this is a little bit of a secret that not too many people know about. So, I mean, in here, there exists like 1,000 moves, but I'll show you all of them basically. G6, E6 is a move, G6 is a move, even F5 is a move, just because black is trying to prevent E4. Bishop on F5 is a move. Now, let us start by knight on C6, because I played this in blitz games a lot of times. This move, this is basically one of the worst. This is one of the few that actually kind of almost loses immediately. Look at this, E4, the idea. Knight on f6, g5. So the thing is, well, we're forced the knight to go back to b8. We'll have big advantage, knight c3. Now, a detail is, I've seen knight takes on e4 quite often. Like black saying, hey, dude, you blunder a pawn on the center. Because, obviously, if we take the knight, they will just exchange queens and play this double check and then win the rook on h1. But the detail is that knight takes on e4 loses immediately to, well, simply bishop on e3. We develop the bishop, we protect f2, so now we are threatening d takes on c6 because the trick of queen takes d1 doesn't work anymore. And the thing is, well, let us say, no matter where this knight goes, I don't know, let us say that it goes back, well, we just have queen on e4 check, and we win the knight on e4. It's really curious, right, these tactics. So, okay, then because of that, black should play knight on b8, and now, well, let me show you this line, knight c3, and if e6, I really like this queen b3. This is basically the way to keep refuting this line in this particular knight on c6 line, because if pawn takes, we advance, we have e5 attacking. And this is too much for black. Knight on e4, we could just exchange that and play knight on g5. Now queen on e7 is the only move. It's such an awful, ugly move, right? Queen on e7. But bishop on e6, we take that, we take on b7, we have everything, like knight d7, let us just grab the pawn on e4. It's too much. And going back after this ugly move, bishop on c4. I don't need to show you much more, but let us say they execute the check just to, well, again, it seems like the only move, but we just block that and take with the pawn. We're still on f7. Bishop on e6 only move. We even take it with the bishop in here, because in here we have takes, and, well, we're just threatening knight takes on c7. If knight on a6, we'll just blow it up and play knight takes on c7. Nothing works. What else? I guess king on d7, but knight on g5. Now we're trying to play knight on f7, and an e6 check is too much. Bishop e7, e6 check. I don't know, king c8, knight takes on e4. I mean, you can see that it's kind of funny, but going back after knight on f3, knight c6 is almost losing. This is, black really should not play this. So let me briefly show you how white can basically refute anything. After playing knight on f3, we're just ready to play e4 at will, whenever we want, in the best possible conditions, the one that we will choose. So for example, e6, it's really passive move, but well, now we should actually immediately go for e4. And I don't know, knight f6, we'll just develop our pieces normally. We'll always have small going on clear advantage. Look at this, this is just normal development. Knight bd7, just queen c2, maybe some c6, because if c5 we can even take that, and yeah, knight takes, we can always play bishop on f4 and take that diagonal. But after a more passive c6, once again bishop on f4, this is just easy chess for white, always small to clear advantage, right? So, well, another try for black will be, well, this is really interesting. I've seen bishop on f5 in a lot of blitz games, because I mean, black's logic is that, okay, white was trying to play e4. Well, with bishop on f5, we're trying to prevent that, and at least our knight on d5 is, well, if knight on c3, they'll just take it. And now we don't see any e4 winning attempt on the horizon for white. And then you should know this. Knight bd2 is very, very, very strong for white in here, because now we are effectively simply threatening e4 winning and just simply not allowing the knight takes on c3 capture. This simple move, knight bd2, is really strong. So again, I've won a lot of blitz games like that. Bishop on f5, knight bd2, and now they're forced to lose a tempo. I mean, e4 is a real threat. So I've saw stuff like, well, I mean, black cannot control the e4 square with any movement that involves development. So they play, I don't know, knight f6 or knight on b6. Let us say knight on f6, just queen b3 development. We'll look at f7. We hit on b7, queen c8. We can even fianchetto just the bishop. Just going for bishop on g2 and c5, d5. I mean, everything is cool for us in here. Or going back. Knight b6, well, e4, just we win the tempo now of course, since the knight did not even go to f6 to prevent e4, we just play it, and while we can even throw h4, just threatening h5, will force h6, and now on the other wing we can throw both wing pawns, like a4, just threatening a5, I don't know, e6, a5, knight back, h5, look at, I really love this, that's just winning space, like eternally with our pawns. Once again, queen b3, going for the light squares. Now that the light square bishop is, on the other side, and if queen c8, just bishop on c4. I mean, again, really easy chess. We can play always energically, and always get small to, in this case, actually clear advantage. So really, I think the moves that you see more often in blitz is knight c6 and bishop on f5. They're both like the worst options for black. Let us check a few more moves. f5, yeah, I know it looks positionally ridiculous, but at least, I mean, black is saying, well, e4 is the threat, is the positional threat that is going to almost beat me. Let us try and prevent it with f5. At least there is a logic to it. We can play knight on c3 in this case. Yeah, I mean, if e6, we'll just go e4. For example, well, if pawn takes, knight takes, I don't know, we'll just find check. We can play bishop on d2, develop like this. I mean, black will always have this typical problem, the backward pawn on e6. At least they have the f file to look at something, but it's never enough. Bishop on c4, and I don't know, knight c6 castles, for example, in here, and I don't know, the sacrifice of an exchange is no good here. We'll just take it, and I don't know, queen f8, king g2. You can see that there's kind of nothing for black anywhere. Going back to this f5 line, knight c3, e6, e4. Well, maybe knight takes e3 now, but I mean, it looks like at least it was a gambit on white's part. But once again, knight on e5. Look at this, the typical Dutch thing. We're threatening queen on h5, and if g6, we'll be able to take it. So Queen f6, we can give the check anyway, because after the g6 we go back. It's just we're guaranteed to take the pawn on e4. There's nothing. I will say that maybe in this position, again, we're with this good, instead of the rushed e4, the good knight on f3 move, we're almost 100%. It's a guarantee of an advantage for white. But if I had to play this position with black, I guess I will choose the last line that I want to show you, g6, because I mean, at least it makes sense. Black is trying to play some sort of Grunfeld. So yes, it will be one of the version of a Grunfeld. We're going to play e4 and knight on b6. Yes, it's a version of a Grunfeld in which white has won a tempo with e4. There was no knight takes on c3, but at least it kind of does look like a Grunfeld. I think this is probably the best try for black. In this case, I would recommend just h3. Let us just prevent bishop on g4. Just we don't have pressure in the center. Let's say bishop on g7, now playing natural moves. I think we should once again play this wing move a4. We're threatening a5, and yeah, a5 by black, we're just normally bishop on e2, c6, castles. Okay, I think this is probably a slight advantage for white. This is probably the lesser evil for black in all of these lines. But, you know, once again, I mean, the main thing is to remember the way to refute d5 is to take. Betting here not to play e4 immediately, just play knight on f3. And yes, it's good to know that basically bishop on f5 and knight c6 are pretty awful moves, really dangerous for black. But you can see the strategy in general. You know, just you don't have to learn all these lines by heart. It's good to show them because, well, I just made a study to make sure which was, you know, the way in which we'll get the clear advantage. But again, positionally, strategically, you understand that we are going to play e4, winning a tempo one day. That we want to keep our cards. You know, this is our best cards. The card, you know, this e4 move, just to have it to play it in the best possible scenario. So thanks a lot for watching. I will ask you to like, comment, share, and subscribe as usual. Once again, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.